it's Thursday, so that's another Throwback Thursday time, and in this case, Remembering Forgotten Memories video. Actually, this video was inspired a little whiles back when, damn it, phone. Really inconvenient timing. But anyway, it was inspired by Kayla over on Purple Stars O2's channel when she posted the story of, I believe it was also her bike crash story, and I was like, no way. I was definitely already planning on posting this as one of mine, as an upcoming RFM video, and hadn't gotten to it yet. So, yeah, and she said I should totally still post mine. So, I am. And it kind of just shocked me how similar the stories were. Like, for real. Really, really similar. Anyway, so, this goes back to when I was a wee 7-year-old, maybe even 8-year-old. I was in 2nd grade, I know that much, right? I was the weird little kid who did not know how to ride a bike because I did not own one. I had one of those big wheels tricycles that I was so tiny. I was still able to ride that thing at that age. You know, to be honest, I could probably still ride one now, but yeah, like, I had no complaints with it. But my dad decided it was time for me to graduate to a big kid bike. So for, I forget if it was 7th or 8th birthday, whichever one it was, I got a blue, like, teal Little Mermaid bicycle. It had training wheels on it, had glittery streamers on it, it had Ariel in the spokes. It was wonderful. I was obsessed with the Little Mermaid, so this for me was just like, oh shit, yes, this is the best thing ever. But my birthday's in January. It always fucking rains in January. So while it was cool to see that I had a bike, I couldn't ride this bike out in the rain. Because we lived at the bottom of a very huge steep hill. Incidentally, we now live at the top of that same steep hill, and I'm actually going to go outside and show you guys what I'm talking about so you can see just how big a deal this was. Anyway, so, for months I kind of just puttered around the flat ground at the bottom of the hill, and, you know, that was fun for a little while, but you get bored with that, you want to branch out further, you know, you want to ride, go up the hill, and as the weather started to improve a bit, I started going up a little teeny bit of the slant of the hill, not very high, because I was getting chicken shit, and because I really could not turn to save my ass, but I got to where I could do that. And I got to where I was allowed to go halfway up. And before I go further, I'm going to go outside and show you this hill, because it's still our driveway. It just, we no longer live at the bottom of it, but just so you guys understand, hold on. Okay, so I have no idea what's even showing up on here, since I'm looking basically straight into the sun, but our driveway goes up this way. You can't even tell quite how high it goes that way. It goes all the way down. I don't want my address to show, but I'm gonna swing around way down there. See, way the shit down there? That is way down at the bottom. It's our old house. Yeah, it was kind of a crap shack. So, now that you understand, and you can kind of tell how steep this is, I can continue my story. Okay, hopefully that clip is clear enough to be able to see, because I'm not going out there again, because my dad already gave me shit for that, and again, now people know where you live. It's like, dude, half you guys have my fucking address anyway. Anyway, so, hopefully it did justice to how steep the hill is. I feel like it probably didn't, but it's a very steep hill. Anyway, so, I was only learning how to ride this bike with training wheels from, well, I got the bike in January, but wasn't really able to ride it much at all the first month. Second month, as weather got a little better, less rainy, was when I was riding it at the very bottom of the hill where it was just flat. March, I was getting to where I was going up a little tiny bit. By April, I was going up about halfway, and by May is when the shit hit the fan and when the crash happened. My dad thought I was ready for the training wheels to come off. And I more or less kind of agreed. I was iffy about it. I was scared, but at the same time excited to be able to ride the bike like a big kid. So the wheels came off. I puttered around on it. I was totally okay. So he decided, in his infinite wisdom, let's go to the top of the hill and ride down. Okay, that was probably my downfall. Even if I'd had those training wheels on, I don't think they would have saved me, honestly. But the fact that they were off just makes it that much worse. Because, okay, this bike didn't even have, like, the hand brakes on it. It just had the ones where you back pedal to make it brake, right? And let's put it this way. When I very first started going down just the tippy top of the hill, like, every 2 seconds I was going burp, 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 to brake, brake, brake. That was no problem. And then I got overconfident. And, oh dear God, all it took was a few seconds to gain enough momentum for those pedals to be... And my foot slipped off of it, and the second it slipped off, there was no getting my foot back on there. Everything happened in a matter of seconds. It was going so fast. I got about halfway down that hill, and in my panic to try and get my foot back on the brake, my handlebars went to the side, I went crashing into the fence, and I went airborne for about 10 feet and landed face first, well, head first, on the ground. And I just laid there for a bit, and it's like there was this moment that was almost like an out-of-body experience. Maybe it was one, because I could swear I saw myself for like a second there. And I just felt numb. I felt nothing. And I just laid there. And apparently my dad panicked and thought I was dead. But no. So he's coming running as fast as he could, but it's a long-ass hill. And even though I was able to whip down it in seconds, I was on a bike. He was on foot. So it took him a while to get down there. And I'm just laying there, and I was fine and felt nothing until I picked my hand up to try and brush off all the little pebbly rocks that had jammed themselves into my palm, and just saw blood everywhere from my fingertips all the way down. And it was the second I saw the blood that I shrieked bloody murder, and all of a sudden, that is when the pain set in, and I realized everything hurt. And I had no idea just how badly I was scraped up. I have no idea how I didn't knock out any teeth that day. That is the one part of this story where it varies from Kayla's. I actually did not lose any teeth. But my poor nose. I did not always have a huge schnoz, or this big hook in it. I actually used to have a cute little nose before that bike crash. I totally obliterated my fucking nose and snapped it. And I never went to a doctor to have it fixed. Like, honestly, if I ever got the money to do so, to have it fixed, I'd probably just go big or go home and have a friggin' nose job while I'm at it. But I know damn well my septum's fucked up from it. Ever since then, I have had nothing but sinus infections ever since, and never had one before that bike crash. So I know exactly what caused my sinus issues. It was that bike crash, totally destroying my nose. But, you know, everything from about here all the way across up my nose and down the other side. Just scraped bloody mess, like no skin left on my face across that stripe, and then up from about here, across the back, into my hair back here, another bloody mess. My chin down that way was a bloody mess. But somehow my mouth was spare. I don't know how. And I landed on this side, and pretty much this entire side of my body was just like road rash. Holy crap. Just scrape, 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 scrape. And all the way down, dumbass me was wearing shorts, so even my legs totally freaking shredded. Oh my god. One of those pedals, as they were whipping around, I was trying my damnedest to get my foot back on there. It hit the back of my heel, and it gouged in so much that it actually went into the tendon a little bit, and to this day, I am weird as fuck about anything touching the back of my ankle on that side. It's still sensitive to this day. Definitely didn't heal quite right. Probably really should have gone to the ER that night. I'm not quite sure why we didn't, honestly. But we didn't. I'm obviously still here to tell the tale, so I guess it turned out okay, but, yeah, things probably should have been looked at to, just see if anything needed medical intervention. But I think we probably had, like, no health insurance at that point or something. I don't know. All I know is that it was all sorts of fucked up. 1 week prior to this was my first communion, and there were professional photos done and everything. So there's this angelic little photo of me that came, like, a week or so after this bike crash, from 1 week before it happened. And I just remember my mom was so pissed, just like, look what you did to my baby girl! To my dad, like, she was out for blood. She wanted him dead after this. She was pissed. She did not want me going up that hill in the first place. She didn't even want those training wheels coming off the bike, but she really did not want me ever going to the top of that driveway, because she saw the writing on the wall. She knew exactly what was going to happen, and she was right. On that one, she was actually right. And there was nothing she could do about it, because we kind of did that behind her back. Because we knew she would not have allowed it, And I was dumb enough to be naive and trusted my dad on this one, that this was somehow a good idea. And she was walking out into the living room with a basket full of laundry, apparently from the back of the house, just in time to see me come sailing down the driveway, and there was nothing she could do about it. It was already too late. The wheels were literally in motion. Nothing you could do to stop it at that point. Once my foot slipped off the pedal, it was past the point of any return. There was no stopping this. So I was like, the only thing that could have stopped me was, running into something. Which, for as much as it sucked crashing half the way down, it would have been way worse if I'd made it all the way down, because then I probably wouldn't have veered off to one side. I probably would have slammed smack face first into the back of my dad's car, probably destroyed his car, and possibly been killed. So, could have been worse. Could have been worse. I should probably count my blessings that I did veer into the spot that I did. I don't know quite how I didn't land in the friggin' horse's watering trough that was literally right there on the inside side of the fence, but then again, I went airborne, so I think I went over it. Oh my god. Yeah, it was just one of those things where it was just like, holy crap. And that whole night, my mom was so convinced that, I had a concussion, which, to be fair, I probably did, that she would not let me get more than about 5 minutes into sleep, because she didn't want me to get too deep into a sleep and possibly not wake up, which, maybe there was something to that since I'm still here, but yeah, it was not good. And I just remember going to school the next day and everyone just like, what the hell happened to you? Keep in mind, I'm in 2nd grade, and the word hell came out of kids' mouths over this. Even the girl who notoriously bullied me day in and day out was concerned over this one. And to be fair, I was so fucked up, I don't think I even made it the entire school day. I had to go home early. I could not even form a fist enough to hold a pen, just because my entire hand was just completely obliterated. Didn't break any bones as far as I know in my hand, anyway, but yeah, my nose is another story, but I could not hold a pen to save my ass. There was a good amount of time in there where I had to go home early that day, but I think that was a Friday. I had the weekend to recuperate a little bit. By Monday, though, they'd arranged for somebody to write things and just, do dictation for me. I'd say what I wanted them to write, just to give me more time for my frickin' hand to heal enough to be able to write things down, but oh dear God, it was humiliating. It was just I didn't want anybody seeing me like that. Thankfully, I don't think there's any photos of this. If there are, I don't know of them, or I'd have burned them by now, but I don't think there's any photos of it. Which, on one hand, I almost wish there were one, just so I could show people the sheer horrendousness of the reality of the situation. But on the other hand, I'm kind of glad there's not, because it was really, really bad. But yeah. So that was my bike crash story, for those who didn't know of it already. And to this day, I think I've ever stepped foot on a bike maybe once or twice since then. ever. Because I have just been beyond traumatized. I'm like, no, never again. We live in California. We live in the Bay Area. It is super hilly here, no matter where you go. There is no just regular flat streets. There aren't any. It's just the nature of the area we live in. So, no matter where I go, there's going to be steep hills. And frankly, I don't want to be on a bike on them. So, just saying. Anyway. So that's the end of my story time video. Don't know if anybody enjoyed that or, well, I don't know that you enjoyed that so much, but maybe you guys have had stuff happen to you guys where you can relate to it. Anyway, so, anyway, if you like this video, click the like button. If you're not already and you'd like to be, click subscribe, leave comments down below. Until next time, bye!